Welcome to the Let's Talk Show Live. It's your girl Blaze. My special guest today is 23-year-old Rasheed Graham. He is a trainee pilot. Rasheed, welcome to the Let's Talk Show Live.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
Very good, yourself?
I'm great. So Rasheed, tell us a bit about your background.
My name is Rasheed Graham, 23 years old, from North West London. Born and raised in North West London, went to school at Capital City Academy, and now I'm training to be an airline pilot.
Now you're training to be an airline pilot. That's really exciting. So when did you know that you wanted to be a pilot?
From about the age of 5, my mum asked me numerous times, like, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? At first it was like Action Man, Power Ranger, that sort of thing. And then one day she asked me again, and I said I want to be a pilot. And since then, I've just stuck to it.
So Power Rangers at 5, I get. Pilot at 5, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you've made up your mind at 5, you wanted to be a pilot. So what next? What happened as you got older?
As I got older, the enthusiasm to become a pilot, it grew. When I got into year 7, I thought about what I wanted to do, and the only thing on my mind was a pilot. And people around me told me, like, you know, being a pilot is a rich man's career. It's not something that people like us do. But it didn't deter me. If I decided I want to be a pilot at the age of 5, and I'm now sort of 11, 12, I thought I was destined to do it.
So who were the people that were saying those things? Your friends, family? Who was saying that?
Teachers mostly, because I had a few teachers that tried to be pilots in their time and it didn't work out, so they tried to be teachers, and they've come across me, a young black man from London who wants to be a pilot, and they thought, no, try and do something else, but didn't really let it get to me at all, because I knew I was going to face setbacks getting older, and this is just one of them. So it was something I just came across, and a hurdle I came across, and something I just overcome.
That's great, because I have to say, you probably know this already, that is a common statement mentioned to many young black males, in fact young black females as well, when they've decided upon a career and they've gone to the careers advisor or the teacher at school and they've tried to deter them. But you remain motivated and you were true to your word.
Yeah.
So what happened at 13?
So when I was 13, I joined the training corps, or the Air Cadets. So it's sort of a subsidiary of the Royal Air Force. It's called a cadet force, which provides teenagers up until the age of 20 life skills like ironing a uniform, punctuality, map reading, but most importantly, the organisation provides free flying, and that's invaluable to any trainee pilot, because anyone knows that aviation is very expensive. It costs sort of like £300 an hour just to rent an aircraft. So to have the means to have free flying is sort of worth its weight in gold. So when I was sort of doing my searches of how to become a pilot, the Air Cadets was the first thing to come up, and when I was 13, I didn't really hesitate to join.
So what, was that local to you, or did you have to travel?
No, it was down the road. It was in Willesden, by Willesden Sports Centre, so it was literally like a 10-minute walk from home. So I did that twice a week.
So in the Air Cadets, you already get some experience with actual flying?
Yeah, so you get to fly with an instructor. They give you control for sort of half an hour, teaching the basics of flying that you go on and take into your career.
So what was your first experience? So at 5, you say you want to be a pilot. You thought about Power Rangers, but you stuck with being a pilot. Now you've joined the Air Cadets, and your first opportunity to fly. What was that like?
I felt pretty natural, because I had a flight sim where I simulated flight on my computer. I had the controls and everything, the rudder pedals and the yoke. So I sort of knew the gist before I actually went flying in real life. So when I actually sat in the aircraft, it just felt so natural, and at this point I knew this is something I was destined to do. So
you're a born pilot?
I think so.
It was very natural to you. So what next? What happened next? So you've done the Air Cadets, you know, you've known from a very young age this is what you want to do. What happened next? What do you have to do next?
It's a very tough industry to get into if you don't have the money up front to do it. So when I was 17, I started applying for scholarships, which basically sort of alleviate the cost of you actually having to pay for it yourself. So various companies out there who will sponsor you for sort of 10, 12 hours to go learn to fly. So I applied to the organisation called the Air League. 3 or 4 times I was rejected. On my 5th attempt, I got a 12-hour scholarship, which gave me the ability to go from 0 to hero. So having no flying experience to flying solo. So I did that. And then the following year, I was deemed to have been the best student from the previous year. So I was awarded a further 30 hours by Prince Philip. And using those hours, I was able to gain my pilot's licence.
That's brilliant. So what were some of the things they were saying when you were rejected initially? What were the reasons they were giving you?
I didn't get any feedback initially, but because these scholarships are so competitive, I know that there'll be thousands of applicants just saying the same things. So I thought maybe my application wasn't strong enough. So every time I got rejected, I just went back to the drawing board. I just did other things like volunteering, got a part-time job, started playing in sports teams just to make myself very well-rounded. So when I applied for the 5th time and I got a scholarship, my application did stand out, I think.
Oh, well done. That's very creative. I like that. So you've got more experience now of flying. Do you know, because we were talking about the fact that you were rejected and things that, you know, your teachers were saying to you at school as a young black male who had this great ambition to be a pilot. Yeah. What's the percentage of African Caribbean pilots in the world or the UK, or both, really?
Currently, across the world, it's something like 7% of pilots are black, Asian, minority ethnic, and in the UK it's sort of close to 1%.
Okay, so Rasheed, you are now a trainee pilot with Aer Lingus. Tell me about the process. What was the process like?
The whole Future Pilot Programme doesn't come around often. It's a fully funded scholarship by the airline to select and train their airline pilots, which is pretty unheard of in the industry because to train to be a pilot, you sort of need £100,000 up front, which many people don't have. So it's a highly thought of programme, it's highly competitive. So it starts with an online application. You get sifted through a CV that you send online. And if they like your CV, they send you an online test, which tests the core skills that you might need or you will need to fly an aircraft. So I've luckily been able to pass both stages. I was invited to a selection process in Dublin just for a day, which consisted of a team building exercise just to demonstrate you've had the skills to work in a team, because being a pilot is working in a team. And then that moves on to a panel exercise. So they present you with a question and they assess your ability to engage with the question and include the team as well. And then the day ends with a board interview with a pilot and someone from HR, where they really test your technical knowledge and your motivations to be a pilot, which I think I really excelled in because it was very genuine. I want to pursue this career for years, and to get the opportunity to have my training paid for, which I wouldn't have had the means to do it otherwise. I think my passion really came out in the interview. So in the end I was successful and I got a place. And then I went out to Spain the following year to start my training as a commercial pilot.
Well, you're definitely motivated and you showed some real tenacity because I guess many after 4 attempts might say, actually, my teacher was right. I can't do this. Yeah. But you continued to your 5th attempt and you were successful.
Yeah, definitely.
How many people were applying for how many places?
So the year I applied, there was something like 8,500 applicants for 18 places.
Wow.
So that's like less than a % chance of actually getting a place.
So well done and congratulations.
Thank you.
You've gone off to Spain now, you've been successful. So does this mean that your scholarship, you've got the scholarship, you had the scholarship at that time?
Yeah, so once they send you out to Spain, you're considered a cadet, so you're part of the airline and you're going for your training, and once you complete the training, you go off to fly with the airline.
But Rasheed, what happened after just 20 weeks? So you've gone through that process, you're 20 weeks in now. Yeah. What happened?
So I'm 20 weeks into the course. I've just finished the ground school phase, which is all the classroom and theory stuff, and just about to sit my exams. And then COVID-19 starts, and then the flight school closes, all the students are sent home. So at first, we just thought, okay, it's only gonna be a couple of weeks, we'll be back soon. And sort of 5 months passed, and we didn't return. And then we got a call from Aer Lingus saying, you know what, it's unfortunate, but in the current climate and the effect that COVID's had on the aviation industry, unfortunately, we can't continue to fund your training. So at that point, the sponsorship was withdrawn, and we were faced with the ultimatum of, you know what, you can walk away now, or you can pay £60,000 to continue the course. And at that point, Aer Lingus had already invested something like £44,000, so we needed £60,000 just to continue and qualify as a pilot.
So 20 weeks in, college closes, and you're thinking, I guess, it's just lockdown, we'll be here for a few weeks, then we'll return. Yeah. You get the email that says, actually, that's not happening. Your ultimatum now is to find the remainder, which is £60,000 in order for you to continue. What would it mean for you if you were not able to continue? This dream that you've had since 5 years old and you're now 23, what would that mean for you?
It would be heartbreaking because all I've ever thought about is becoming a pilot. And for me, as a young black male coming from London, opportunities like this don't come around very often. And during COVID, I had a lot of time to think, and I just thought, if I give up now, there's going to be someone in the next generation behind, and the generation behind that, who's going to be in a similar position to me, who doesn't have the means to become a pilot and really wants to do it, and doesn't have the means to do it. So I thought, if I give up now, I'm doing myself an injustice and the people coming up behind me. Essentially, I didn't have any, pilots that looked like me when I was growing up, and I think it would have helped me, like, in a big way, if I could see someone in a position of responsibility, especially a pilot that looks like me and has something to aspire to. So for me to go back, it's not just a case of finishing my training, it's about helping more young people into professional careers as pilots and other fields, because representation is key, and there aren't many, black pilots out there. So I'd like to help more young people get into this profession.
So it's really important for you, and what you're trying to do is buck the trend, because you're saying there's 1% in the UK and 7% across the world. Mm-hmm. And you want to leave a legacy, you want to set the path for somebody younger than yourself.
Sure.
So what do you need now?
So the goal is to raise £60,000, and that covers my tuition to return to Spain and complete my flight training.
You've just come back from Spain, haven't you?
I just have, yeah. Luckily, my school allowed me to complete my exams that I didn't manage to do before COVID struck. So I've just completed 6 exams and I've passed all of them.
Well done.
Thank you.
So, Rasheed, tell us now, you need to raise £60,000. Mm-hmm. What period of time do you need to do this by?
So I have until January 25th to raise £60,000, and January 25th is when hopefully my course recommences.
What have you done so far in terms of trying to raise the funds?
So I set up a crowdfund campaign called #Rash to Flight School, which can be found on various social media platforms. But essentially, if you go on GoFundMe, I have my campaign set up there. I think when I made contact with you, I was on sort of the 5,000 mark. But now,
where are you now?
Just under 20k. 20,000, yeah.
So you've got a further 40,000 to get. Rasheed, I think your story is amazing and absolutely heartfelt. It's my absolute pleasure to spend this time with you.
Thank you.
I think you've worked really hard. You are a real torchbearer and an absolute trend setter.
Thank you.
And what would you say to a young person who wanted to pursue a particular dream and they were told, like you at school, actually that's not for you? What would you say to them?
You're going to face many comments like that going throughout your journey, but the key is to keep the goal in sight, because anything is possible. Many of these careers that we aspire to require people like us, people who come from humble beginnings and know the value of working hard, because a lot of people have never faced setbacks, so when they finally do, it comes as a big shock. But people like us, we face setbacks all the time.
Sure.
And we're able to deal with it. And that's what these professional careers require. They need the skill set of people like us who come from humble beginnings and know the value of working hard. So for anyone in a similar position to me, is just keep on working, because dreams don't work unless you do, sort of thing. So
who supports you? Who keeps you motivated? Who keeps you going?
My friends and family, especially my mum, because it's only been her really, and she's never told me to give up. So I think that's a big motivator, because if she believes in me, there's no reason why I shouldn't believe in myself.
So, it is the Let's Talk Show live from Chalk Hill Community Radio Station. Chalk Hill Community Radio Station is all about keeping the community connected. The Let's Talk Show is all about motivating young entrepreneurs like Rasheed Graham. He's a 23-year-old, a trainee pilot. COVID has affected his trajectory to complete his ambition to be a pilot since the age of 5. There's 7% of black pilots in the world and only 1% in the UK. And here is young Rasheed at 23. I think we have a responsibility to support this young man and his family so that he can buck the trend and make the changes. I'd love to fly to the Caribbean with you. I'm sure some of you would love to be on his plane. What countries do you think you'd like to fly to?
I definitely want to tick off some countries in Europe, but I definitely want to do a tour of the Caribbean, South America and North America.
So guys, I'm asking you to join me, the Let's Talk show in Chalk Hill Community Radio Station, in keeping the community connected and supporting young 23-year-old Rasheed, trainee pilot for Aer Lingus. We cannot let this opportunity go. So I'm asking you to join me in supporting Rasheed. Rasheed, how are we going to support you? Where can we find the GoFundMe page?
Sure, so if you go on GoFundMe, you can search hashtag Rash to Flight School and my crowdfund campaign will come up there. But you can type in hashtag Rash to Flight School on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter.
I like that, Rash to Flight School. I like that. So guys, please share this video. Please also, before you share the video, please make a donation. Nothing is too small. If we all put £1, £5, £10, please, I urge you to support this young man. I think we have a duty. So Let's Talk show live. It's your girl Blaze, and I'm out.